If you're looking to buy your first home in the next year, then you're probably wondering, how on earth do I save enough money for the down payment? In this video, I'm going to break down the exact math you should be using and give you some tips and tricks to use along the way. If you're new here, my name is Jordan. I'm a licensed mortgage advisor, and my goal is to actually make the mortgage process make sense for you. In this video, I want to help you build your budget from the ground up so you can reach that goal of saving for your down payment. If I was watching this video and if I was in the process of saving, what I would do is I'd watch this video through first just to get an understanding of what we're trying to do here. Next, I would actually get your numbers together and go through the math step by step and help build your budget from there. The first step, I want you to get your income together. We're going to look at two different types of income. So first, your gross, how much you're making before your taxes and other deductions, and then your net, how much you're actually bringing in each month after those things are taken out. Starting with your gross income, if you make a salary, this is pretty easy. To get the monthly number, you're just going to take your annual salary and you're going to divide it by 12. Next, if you're hourly, we're going to do the math a few different ways. So I'm going to use the example of making $30 an hour and working 40 hours a week. To get your gross number, what you're going to do is multiply that 30 by 40. That'll give you $1,200 a week. You'll multiply that by 52 weeks. That's going to give you $62,400 annually. Finally, you'll divide that by 12 to get your monthly number. That'll be $5,200 a month. Now I'm going to help you get your net pay. With this, I want you to grab your paycheck. Your most recent paycheck works just fine. With this, the math is a little bit different depending on how often you're paid. So if you're paid every week, it's pretty easy. What you're going to do is take your last paycheck, multiply that by 52 weeks, and divide by 12 to get your monthly income. If you're paid twice a month, it's also pretty easy. You're just going to multiply that by 2. 2 paychecks per month multiplied by 2. There it is. And then finally, if you're paid every 2 weeks, what you're going to do is take your paycheck amount. You're going to multiply that by 26 and then divide by 12. All of those calculations are going to get you your net income each month. Now, going back to the example of $30 an hour for 40 hours a week, I'm just going to make the assumption that about $500 is taken out of your paycheck in this scenario. So with that, 2 paychecks a month, I'm going to assume that your monthly take-home pay is around $4,116 a month. To make the math a little bit easier, I'm just going to round down. We're going to use an example of $4,000 a month take-home for the rest of this budget. Now, for setting up your budget, there's a few different ways to go about it. One of the ones that I like to help people with is the 50-30-20 rule. So 50% of your monthly take-home goes towards your needs, 30% goes towards your wants, and 20% goes towards savings. So the 50% going towards your needs, that could be your rent payment, your gas, groceries, minimum monthly debt payments, those kind of things. Essentially what you need to spend to survive. That 30% for wants, that could be your subscription to Netflix or going out to dinner, whatever you like to do for fun, your hobbies, and the money that's spent on that. That's your wants category. And finally, the 20% for savings, essentially investing in yourself, your future you money. So this can go towards retirement, extra payments towards paying down debt, but also saving for goals like buying a house. For our $4,000 a month budget example, that means that 50% or $2,000 goes towards needs, 30% or $1,200 for your wants, and finally that $800 goes towards your savings. Now that you have an idea of what your 50-30-20 spending should be, I want you to take a look at your own spending. How do you compare to this 50-30-20 rule? If you need help with this, there's a few different budgeting apps you can look into, or you could just use a spreadsheet or however you want to do your math on this. But take a look and see, okay, am I overspending on my wants section? Am I not putting enough towards saving? How is my needs section looking? Those are all things that are going to help you moving forward of, okay, is my monthly spending where it should be? But with this, I want you to understand that it's not a one-size-fit-all. You might need to spend 60-65% each month towards your needs section. Maybe you have a couple kids. Maybe you live in a higher cost of living area. Those are all real life scenarios that makes the math on this a little bit different. With this, I think you need to understand, okay, am I able to take some more out of my wants section and put that towards saving? Or do I put off buying a house for now? There's no right answer for everyone, but this 50-30-20 rule gives you a good idea of where things should start. Now that we have the 50-30-20 rule laid out, I want you to think more about, okay, how much of this 20% for savings should I actually be putting towards buying a home? Traditional wisdom says to save about 10 to 15% of your gross or before tax income and putting that towards retirement. In our scenario of $30 an hour at 40 hours a week, that would mean that between $500 to $700 would be going towards retirement savings. That would leave you between $100 and $300 to save towards other things like buying a home. I know saving $100 to $300 a month towards buying a home doesn't feel like a whole lot, but this is why we went through your budget a little bit earlier. Is there somewhere where I can cut $200 a month out of my wants? That'd be $50 a week. Could you put an extra $50 a week towards saving? Are you in a scenario where maybe you can add on a little side gig? Whatever that may be, those are ways that you can help save up a little bit faster. And just to point out, this is going to be a marathon. This isn't a sprint. Depending on your situation, you might need to take a little bit more time than you're wanting to actually save up for your down payment. But say you're in a spot where you can save $500 a month. In 20 months, so under 2 years, you could save $10,000, and that's a great start for buying a home. So just keep in mind that this is all about setting the goal early, sticking to it, and saving up the money in the end. Finally, I want to give you some real-world advice on how to save this the best. The first one I want to call saving the difference. So just for an example, say your monthly rent is $1,500 a month. Your mortgage, you might expect to be spending $2,000 a month. What I want you to do is take $1,500 for your rent and pretend that you're paying $2,000, but that extra $500, put that directly into savings. What this will do is that'll help build your savings account faster. Also, this will get you used to spending that $2,000 a month towards your housing payment. This is also a good test. Okay, does $2,000 a month stretch me too thin? Am I not going to be able to afford comfortably a $2,000 a month housing payment? This saving the difference is a good way to save extra, but also to test yourself of what it feels like going forward. Next, I would say that you should be saving this money in a high yield savings account. As of making this video, high yield savings account rates are about 3 to 4% right now. That's much higher than the 0.1% of savings rate that you could get at a checking or savings account at your bank. This will save a little bit extra money. You'll earn some interest on it. Savings could grow a little bit faster. It's also easily accessible and not going to go down like if you were keeping it in stocks or something like that. And finally, my last piece of advice is to automate your savings. What I did when I was saving up was I had a weekly automated savings set up. So that could be however much works for your budget, but that money is going to savings without you even realizing. You don't have to put the thought process into, okay, do I save this week or not? You just get used to that money going into a savings account. You could set this up weekly, monthly, whatever works best for you. You could also have it set up as a portion of it from your paycheck goes into a savings account. Automating is going to take a lot of the guesswork and thought process out of it, and it's just going to automatically save for you. Depending on your situation, I know that saving for your first home might not be an easy thing to do. But in the long run, really what it is it's just a math problem. How much can I save each month, and how long do I need to do that in order to have enough saved up to buy this house? Hopefully you can use these tools and set up your budget in a way where you can reach that someday. I hope this video helped. Feel free to subscribe, watch some of the other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.